It always starts the same way. She looks at you, not as a man you truly are, but as a blank canvas, a space where she can project her dreams, her ideals, her longings. You feel a spark, a pull, a magnetic connection, and you think, this must be love. You feel seen. But the truth is far more unsettling. You're not being seen. You're being projected onto. Carl Jung spent his life diving into the shadows of the human psyche, mapping out what lurks beneath our awareness. And what he discovered was terrifying, especially for men trying to understand women. He found that women don't just fall in love with men. They fall in love with the idea of men, with an internal fantasy, a psychological image built not from reality but from unconscious desires. You're not chosen for your soul. You're chosen for the role you seem able to play. And the moment you stop performing, when you cease to match the fantasy she's crafted in her head, you're no longer needed. You think she left because you failed. But the truth is, you simply stopped fitting the script. From the very beginning, it wasn't you she loved. It was a myth, the dream, the imagined version of you. Jung named this inner force the Animus, the inner masculine archetype within every woman. And when it goes unchecked, when it remains unconscious and immature, it hijacks her choices. She becomes a director of a private film she doesn't even realize she's making. And you're just the actor, unknowingly auditioning for a role she's been rehearsing since childhood. And here's where most men fall into the trap. You confuse a desire with understanding. You think being wanted means being known. But what it actually means is that you've been caught in her dream, cast into a fantasy that has nothing to do with who you really are. Jung believed the only way out of this trap was through individuation, the long, lonely, brutal process of becoming whole within yourself. It's not a path with applause. No woman waits at the end of it to reward you. But it's the only way a man stops being a puppet and becomes his own authority. If you want real love, if you want to be respected, not just desired, then stop performing. Stop bending, nodding, adapting just to avoid being alone. Because the longer you chase approval, the more you sacrifice your truth. The more you give away pieces of yourself in exchange for conditional love. Jung saw this happening everywhere. Men turning love into theater, romance into rehearsal, and their own identity into a performance. They suffer not because women ask too much, but because they've abandoned themselves. Here's what most of society won't tell you. The woman you deeply want, the one who doesn't want to be saved, who sees you clearly, who stands beside you rather than above you, she only appears when you stop hiding. She only arrives when you face your own unconscious patterns, when you've integrated your own neglected inner feminine, when you no longer need her to complete you. Only then will you stop attracting women who want puppets and start attracting women who want truth. A real man isn't obedient. He isn't performative. He doesn't apologize for being whole. And when you meet a woman who has done her own inner work, she won't want your script. She won't try to cast you in her drama. She'll stand before you, raw, human, real, because she's walked her own path and she's not looking to mold you. She's looking to meet you, not save you, meet you, but most of you won't reach that place. Because most of you are still terrified of solitude, terrified of silence, terrified of facing who you really are without anyone applauding. You think it's love when you give her everything. But Jung would look at you and say, no woman can carry the soul of a man who refuses to carry it himself. When she drops that burden, and you'll feel betrayed. But you shouldn't. You should be grateful, because that collapses your liberation. The mask you wore falls away. The illusion you lived in dies. And for the first time, you see yourself. Not the version she wanted. Not the version you thought she needed. But you. And now begins a real journey. The one that requires no blaming, no performance, no begging, only becoming. You don't become a man by being chosen. You become a man by choosing yourself. And when you do, you stop fearing rejection. Because you no longer need to be accepted. You don't chase women who want control. You stand firm and attract those who seek truth. You become grounded. You become whole. Not hard. Not cold. Just untouchable by manipulation. And that's when everything shifts. That's when the women who once wanted to shape you will now be unsettled by you. Because you can no longer be molded. No longer be seduced by fantasy. No longer be used to act out a role in someone else's inner theater. Jung said the individuated man is not welcomed by society. He's feared. He's misunderstood because he no longer fits into their boxes. But he is free. So if you've made it this far, don't scroll away. Don't let this be another emotional hit you forget in an hour. Like this. Share it. Subscribe to Void Mind. Not just for us, but for the man you know is still trapped in someone else's script. He doesn't need more advice. He needs to wake up. And you might be the reason he does.